All right. So, what happens to traders in chop? Like this right here, this right here, this right here. Most of the time, the market's in chop. So, a lot of traders they sit around and they wait and wait and wait for the breakout, and then they don't even take it because they're afraid to because they're in chop. Well, let's just develop a way to trade the chop because this is moving because people are trading it, right? This is still money. We're still getting money. Here's 300 ticks. Right. So we want to, what I've been doing is I've been, well, for a long time, just racking my brain. How do I not get chopped out? Because I still get chopped out. Right. And I don't want to get chopped out anymore. So what do I do to get not chopped out? Well, I just said, I'm just going to try drawing shit. And I'm telling you. Right. So what I did is I just go from the end. Right. So I have my trend line set, the settings, extend right line. Right. So there's a regular trend line. And I'm going to go from the end to the end. And then I'm going to right click on it and click extend. And there's that, right? Okay. Um, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take uh, the trades that bounce off the trend line. Now we can do this one to this one, but it isn't going to do much. It's not going to do anything for us. Um, so when I get a break through the trend line, so I mean we're just going to use a little bit of common sense here, but when this one breaks out, right, we're going to take this trade just as we normally do. So there's your 80, and then we're going to see a rejection and a rejection. So we see a rejection of the trend line and the beacon line is turning red, right? I know we're above it, but I would still take this just because knowing that we're entering chop, and the reason we're entering chop is because we just had a big drop. So just assume that we are entering into some chop, right? Let's look at that. I mean, that was a massive drop. And then we get um, a bounce back up through the trend. See, we respect it right here. We get up, down, reject. So I'm going to go ahead and take my 80 ticks there, right? And then we get a rejection of the zone. So I mean that comes into play too. We're in chop. So um, there's your zone right there, and we get a rejection, and it comes back up, retests the beacon line, and then it drops again. So I'm gonna take 80 ticks again, right? And then we come down, we respect the trend line, we go up and we retest, and the beacon line's green, and we're getting a retest of this reversal here. So we go ahead and we take our 80 ticks again, right? And then look at this. We get it comes up and it rejects the old zone and turns and the beacon line turns red. And so we're gonna take our 80 ticks again. There we go. And then this, I might have taken this right here because now we're starting to respect our own zone. But it's starting to get really unclear. It's not a straight turnaround like this, right? I mean, I guess this is a bear flag or a bull or whatever kind of flag it is. I don't even know. It looks like it's a bear flag, so, or a bull flag. It looks like a bull flag. It's dropping down, but it dumps. So you got your bear flag kind of here, and then it dumps and then it consolidates and then whatever. But it still does win. But I don't know if I would take it. I would probably stop trading off this one zone. And then we get another zone. So what we do is we draw from the end of that zone to the end of this zone right here, right? And we're still in chop, so we're still playing the chop. Um, I don't know if I would take this right here. I mean, probably because it bounced off the 45, or it bounced off the zone and the trend at the same time. So let's say I would take I would probably take that. I would just be a little aggravated for a minute, but and there's your 80 ticks right there. And then we get a rejection immediately into the zone from the old 45, the one that's way up here, right? Which is acting as our resistance. So we get a red and candles. Okay, so we'll go ahead and short that, and we'll go to our 80 ticks, right? And then immediately we reject this new trend line right here, and our beacon's flipping green again. So okay, cool. Let's take that and do our 80 ticks, right? And you guys are starting to see why I choose 80 ticks now, right? Now we get a rejection there, and it turns red, and it comes down again, and then we can take our 80 ticks. And if there's your 80, okay, now this is where it's starting to get tricky, right? Um, we're breaking this trend line, but we're coming back up. We're not coming into this, all right? So the rule of thumb is um, we still have a support. We still have to keep in mind that we have a support. And what is our support? Well, our support is about this right here, right? We're just drawing this out, a little box right here, and just giving ourselves a little support to play off of. And so since we got that in mind, we can take this break and assume it's going to come to the support if we want to risk it. Now this is a little more risky. I'm not going to lie, it is. Um, and I'm more risk adverse than most, so I probably wouldn't take this. But if you did, the entry would be um, this retest right here is where it would become safer than most. And see if you get your 80 ticks. No, you don't. But you get your 40 and you break even on your second, so you still make money. Um, but you get um, well, I guess you could consider this the retest, but you were still in the trade, so I don't know. I don't like it. Probably wouldn't even mess with it. Now this one right here, I would take this because we're coming down, we're bouncing off a new zone, we're bouncing off the trend line, and I'm expecting price to come back up to there. So I'm not saying it's going to do it on this leg, but that's what I'm expecting. So here's our 80 ticks. So I would get into that trade there, right? And then we get an immediate reversal, red, and we're coming back down. And if you look, there's all kinds of liquidity here, right? So I probably would take this one, this short, just for the fact that we did not go all the way back up to resistance, so they're coming to grab more liquidity. That's what's going on here when you see this sharp turnaround before it comes up here. They're coming down to grab more liquidity because they want to make it up into here because there's more stop losses here and limit orders and whatever else. So then we get another um, reversal off the support, breaks through the trend, everything's green. So we get in again, right? We get a little aggravated because we're getting whipsawed around at first, but we eventually get our 80 ticks. Now, that's probably going to be it for this zone because nothing else is bouncing off trend lines, right? So now we're more than likely going in. When that happens, we're probably getting into the trend phase, and we can just start using normal methods to get into trades. But as far as chop, there you go. There's your way to defeat the chop. Is it going to be foolproof? And do I know what's going on right now? Yes, obviously, but you don't know how to trade something until you know how something is working. So you have to do this. It's back testing. And so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 trades minus this one only got 40, but so 13 trades got 80 ticks from 11:14 to 1:04 p.m. on Friday, and all those chopped. Am I saying trade all of these? No, I'm saying here's you 14 opportunities to get 80 ticks. That's what I'm saying. And if you look, this happens like this happened. This is, if you draw these lines out, you will see right here, and then we'll draw this one too. the end of this one, and then we'll draw this one to the end of this one, and then we'll draw this one to the end of this one. And if you see, you're starting to see some real bounces and real ways to go, okay, yeah, prices actually, I really like what's going on here because look at, we come down, we break back up, right? We come down, we break back up, and it's resisting, blowing right through it on this, which is awesome. Um, but if you look, price is attracted to these lines. Is it, you know what I mean? So draw them out, play with it, back test, look, see um, if you like it. But as far as for these consolidation trades, this is pretty awesome. So we have this one to this one, and if you look, see, like you wouldn't know that before because it's an end, but look at how it's just it's respecting and bouncing off these trends. Um, and then if you come up here, see how price look, see what price is doing. See this, and I'm just drawing it off of these from zone to zone. I ain't even looking at price. And look, see that right there. So this is giving you ways to enter trades where you're unsure at first. This is making things very clear now. All right. If you have any questions, let me know.